everybody, sorry I'm a little bit late. I've just broken the thing that's attached my phone to the wall. It's just snapped off, taken all the paint off the wall as well. Won't be telling my husband about that. Okay, so I'm here now. Welcome to the next Come Cook Along with Claire. Hope you're all okay this morning, all full of energy and feeling great after doing your PE session, hopefully. Before we start anything at all, you just got to switch your oven on. We need that as hot as possible. So if you can set your oven on 220 degrees for electric and gas mark 7. So your oven's nice and hot. So pop off and go and do that first. That's the most important thing. So I'll wait for you all to do that. So if you're watching this live, hello, good morning. If you're watching it on replay, good afternoon or good evening. If you could give me a little like or a little hi, just so I know that you're here. You're watching me. And okay, so your ovens are on. We're all here, we know what we're doing, so we wash our hands next. So over you go. Give your hands a jolly good wash, you're all clean. Back. Dry hands, because they do get sore with all the washing. If you don't dry them properly, you end up with eczema and whatnot on your hands. Okay, so first thing we need to do before we go through what we need is we need a bowl or a tin or a Pyrex dish or anything you're going to put your toad in the hole in. Oh, hi Anne, hi Jonathan, hello Samuel, glad to see you back again. So here's what you need something to put your sausages in. So if you're making this for one, 3 sausages are ample. If you're a small child, 2 is fine. If you're like my family, they want 6 sausages. So any sausages that you've got at all, I've got pork and apple sausages here. If you're doing a vegetarian version, you can use corn sausages. Anything you like. Any sausages, frozen or fresh, fine. So if you're making this for 1, 2 or 3, if you're making it for the whole family, you can put 8 sausages in there. So just to speed cooking along, using a pair of scissors, and then the most easiest thing to cut meat with, cut your sausages in half, okay? It just helps them cook a bit quicker, as we don't want to be watching me live for an hour, because that would be boring. Okay, so I'm going to put 4 sausages in mine, so 2 people can share it for lunch. That's the plan today. Saves me a job at lunchtime, because I'm chief snack maker, chief lunch maker and chief dinner maker. Okay, your sausages are in there. Most important thing, and you've touched raw meat, so don't put your fingers anywhere near your face or your mouth or touch anything. You need to give your hands a little wipe before we go on to the next stage. So next thing you need is oil, vegetable, olive oil, coconut oil, whatever oil you've got. Left mine in the cupboard. Excuse-moi. CD. I was all organised, and so she thought. Okay, so vegetable oil. I would say about 2 tablespoons. And this just stops it sticking, the batter and the sausages sticking to the bottom of your tray when they come out the oven. So 2, maybe 3, depends how big your dish is. Any oil at all. Tablespoons are the big spoon. Okay, so we've all done that. That's good. We're all ready. You need to get this in the oven while we do everything else. They need to brown off a little bit and your oil needs to get hot. So ask your grown-up to put them in the oven, or if you're a grown-up you can do it yourself, or if you're an older child, pop it in the oven. So let's pop them in. In they go. Top tray, hot oven, sausages in. Okay, so while they're cooking we will get on with the rest of everything else. So what we need is, oh my gosh, the Philippines. Oh, I feel like Joe Wicks. Quick, let's get a map. Philippines, hello, morning, thank you. Aunt Sarah and Jessica and Finley, morning from next door. This is great, this is lovely. So we need a jug, any size jug you've got. You need a hand whisk or a fork if you haven't got a whisk, or if you're really posh, an electric whisk. Now I'm going to do mine by hand, so you can see how easy it is to do. But if you have an electric whisk, that's absolutely fine. Okay, just a knife and a small spoon, just to have in case we need it to put any ingredients in. Right, that's your utensils. Ingredients. Plain flour, ideally plain. If you've got self-raising flour, that doesn't matter. If you are celiac, you can use corn flour and it works just as fine. A little bit of salt, dried or fresh rosemary, 1 egg. Again, if you're making this for more, times it by 3 or 4 extra eggs. You need, if you have it, you need some bacon, just a rasher, don't need much at all. If you haven't got any bacon but you've got some ham, we can use that as a substitute as well. And milk, semi-skimmed, full fat or skimmed is fine. If you are dairy free, you can use soy milk in this, just an alternative, absolutely fine. Okay, so while they're cooking, we want to make our batter and prepare our bacon. So as they come in the oven, come out the oven, all of these ingredients go straight on top of your sausages and then they get left to cook in the oven for half an hour while we wash up and clear up. So, okay, to start with, we're going to measure out our milk. Now, on your jug, you will see on one side it has ml, okay, which is millilitres. And you need 100 millilitres of milk. Okay, so that can go on in. So pour that in first. Now if you keep your jug on a flat surface and as you gently pour the milk in, the jug will light up. The numbers will light up and you'll be able to see them. So you're looking for the 100 milliliter, ml, 100 of milk. Soya or normal milk, whichever one you've got is fine. That's gone in. Next one is your egg. So the way we crack our egg is you bash it on the side, you let the whole of the inside of the egg pour into your milk, straight away remove the shell and put it on a surface next to you. This is no different to touching raw meat. So again, no fingers in your mouth, no touching anywhere else in the kitchen, cross-contamination until you've washed your hands. So if your egg has just come out the fridge, it's going to be quite hard to crack. If you've taken, some people leave their eggs out, or if they're just on the side, they'll be fine. So a nice big crack of the egg. Oh, there you go. I've just spilt my egg all down the side of my jug. Remove this. Now, if you've managed to get a little bit of eggshell in your mixture, not to worry. Take off any flaky bits of your eggshell. Pop the eggshell into your milk and egg mix and you'll be able to just scoop out any little bits because the sharpness of the egg will cut through the white part of your egg that's gone inside, and you'll be able to lift out little bits of shell and put them to one side. You need to wash your hands again. So back to the sink, another wash to get rid of your raw egg on your hands. Okay, we don't want that spreading anywhere. Right, so with your whisk or your fork or your electric whisk, just want you to mix those two ingredients, the egg and the milk, really well. So your egg, oh look, I just found a massive piece of eggshell in there, which I couldn't see. And I'm just going to whick that out. There it is. Wash my hands again. All you ever do in the kitchen is wash your hands. Right, so with your whisk, you're whisking the egg and the milk together in your jug. Really, really strong. Use them muscles. You get to enjoy your toad in the hole later. Nicely well combined. Next ingredient, okay, is a bit of salt. So any salt you've got, I've got the pink red rock salt. Just a little sprinkling. Just with the flour and the egg, you just need a little something. Right, flour. Now, if you're using Scouse, you need 40 grams, 40 grams of flour. If you're using a measuring cup, voila, you need 1/4 of a cup of flour. Plain flour, corn flour, or self-raising flour, either or, doesn't matter. So 40 grams, 40, or 1/4 of a cup of flour. Tip that into your jar. Really simple. This is such a lovely meal. But when my children come here and they cook with me when we're open properly, this is a really good starter for them because it shows you all these raw ingredients: flour, milk, and egg. and the sausages, what look like nothing when they're raw ingredients on your work surface, what they come out of the oven is quite a transformation. Your toad in the hole is massive, it looks inviting, and the children are very wowed by this particular one. So, as we know, I probably forgot to mention this, it's called toad in the hole. Okay, there's no real toads here. We don't have to go into the garden to find any toads. So we know, and neighbours who live down our road, we have a little resident toad that jumps across everybody's gardens. We don't need to bring him into the kitchen. So you're whisking these around. So you've got your 3 ingredients, your egg, your flour and your milk. Just like if you were making pancakes, it's pretty much the same ingredients, it's the same method, except we're covering it with sausages. Okay, really good mix around, okay? If you've got little lumps in your mix, just give it a little bit of a harder whisk round so the lumps of flour go. And you're looking, what really looks like maybe a banana milkshake is what you're looking to find, with no lumps on the side. If you've got a spatula, you can just go around the edge of the jug, all along the bottom, just making sure there's no little bits of flour that have got stuck. Doesn't matter at the end of the day when it comes out the oven, but it just makes a nice smooth batter. So really mix that around. Right, we'll leave that to one side, okay? Get rid of all of our mess here. I've made loads of mess. It's all flour and eggshells all over my work surface. Clean as you go, that's what they say. Okay, next, now, if anybody is in the kitchen and mum has different coloured boards, different coloured chopping boards, do you know what the red one is for? I'm sure you do. The red one is for raw meat, which is what we're going to use today. If you don't have coloured chopping boards, it doesn't matter. We just need to make sure that this board gets washed up properly before it gets used for anything else. So, board down here. Now, back to our bacon. So you only need 1 rasher per serving, okay, if you're using bacon. If you're not using bacon and you're using ham, it's already cooked, so you're not touching raw meat, but you do need to cut it up the same. So using our scissors very carefully with your rashers of bacon, I just want you to cut through the bacon into chunky chunks, okay? So what will happen is these will go almost like something that's called pancetta, which is a form of bacon that the Italians use. And when it comes out of the oven, when it's cooked, it goes all chunky and crispy. And that's what we want these to come out. So if you've got fatty bits on your bacon, keep those. We're going to use those in this because that's where the taste and the flavour really comes from, the fatty bits of your bacon. Okay, so you want to almost scrunch them up into little balls. So you've got chunky pieces of bacon. Okay, these are going to get scattered over the top of our sausages. So chop them up small and roll them into little balls. Okay, so about a rasher of bacon, or less if that's all you've got, whatever you've got. Now I like to use the end pieces that are like this because they go all crispy and fatty and lovely. Just what we want when you wake up and it's -1 degrees this morning. Gosh, doesn't look it when you look out the window now. It looks so lovely and bright. So you've chopped your bits of bacon up. And you've tried to make sure that you've got some nice little chunky bits. That's perfect. Keep those on your board to one side, okay? Now remembering, we've touched raw meat again, so back to washing your hands. This is why anyone who works in the kitchen has sore hands all the time, or they end up wearing gloves. Okay, good wash of the hands. All the raw meat segments come off. So the last ingredient that we need to prepare is rosemary. Secret ingredient into my toad in the hole, so please don't tell anybody, because they won't come back and buy any food off me when this is all over. So what you're going to need when we take our sausages out is about a teaspoon, okay, which is one of your small spoons. Now these never fit in. If you've got proper measuring spoons, they fit in. I don't know where mine go. I have a whole selection of them and I can never find them. So just use the back of the spoon, and you want to take out about a teaspoon, which is just the end of the spoon, full of dried rosemary. Or if you've got some growing on your windowsill, pick a couple of sprigs off. You can keep them whole, or you can break off all the little bits like they would be dried. So we need to now take out our sausages from the oven. Our oil will be hot, our sausages will start to brown, and the dish that you've got your toad and hoe in will be very, very hot. So to be prepared, have yourself a cooling tray, just so you can put that tray initially on there and it doesn't burn your work surface, okay? Make sure the tea towel or your oven mitt is dry, because if it's wet like mine, so I should get a fresh one, it will burn your hands and we really don't want that. So anybody who's young, please let your parents do this. Do not do this part yourself. It can be quite dangerous. So I'm going to nip to my oven and take mine out. Leave the oven temperature as it is at the moment, and I'll meet you back here with our toad and hoe in the dish on our cooling tray. Right. Okay, so if you've got yours down on your cooling tray, you can hear the oil sizzling. Can you hear that oil sizzling? Okay, very, very hot. If you are very young, you step away. If you feel uncomfortable with it all, step away and let your grown-up do it. You really don't want to ruin your cooking experience by getting burnt. So just another little whisk around what you've done already, especially if you've used corn flour, because it would have gone a bit thick at the bottom. So give it another little whisk around, okay? So you're all fresh. Now, if you're young, you step back slightly, because as this batter hits your hot fat, it might spit up a bit and you don't want to burn yourself, okay? So we're pouring this all over the sausages, okay? Pour it all in. Use your spatula to take out any last little bits that you've got hiding at the bottom. I've got a couple of eggshells at the bottom of mine, because what I'm doing, I'm concentrating on looking at this and I'm not looking at the egg that I've cracked in the jug. Okay, now the bacon. So we are going to be touching raw meat again, so be very careful of your dish. It's going to be extremely hot. I can feel the heat coming off mine. With your rolled up little chunks of bacon, really carefully plop them in, okay? You can take them from a height. You don't have to go really close, so you're going to get burnt. Okay, it shouldn't be spitting now. It should be nice and calm, your dish. But pop all the bacon all around, okay? Scatter it all around, however much or little you got, or if you're using ham, scatter it all in. Wash our hands again. All you do in the kitchen is wash your hands, okay? That, and I pick up clothes off the floor. That's all I do. Okay, rosemary. So what you don't want to do is tip the rosemary straight over, because if you put too much in, you can't take it out. So we add a little bit. So if you're measuring with a spoon, you can just take some out. Put it onto your hand, okay? If you're measuring straight from this, you just pop in, not that much. See, I can take it off because I put it on my hand. Just a teaspoon, not a lot. And what I want you to do is scatter that all over the top of your batter. Okay, my secret ingredient. Please don't tell anybody about that. Okay, it's very secret. That's all gone in. That is the whole of your toad and hoe now prepared. So that needs to go back in the oven. Now again, it's hot. The oven's going to be hot. So you pop this in the oven, back on the top tray. You want to bring your oven temperature down to 200 for electric, or gas mark 6. Okay, and you're going to set a timer for 25 minutes. So really carefully, let's all go back to the oven. Top shelf. Top shelf of the oven. Reduce your oven temperature to 200 degrees or gas mark 6. And set your timer for 25 minutes. I don't know why mine's going off. It's only been 25 minutes. Okay, 25-minute timer. When that's ready to come out the oven, it will be crispy and golden brown on the top, and under the bottom part around your sausages will be white, and that's perfectly normal. So you want to lift it out the oven when your 25 minutes are up, back onto your cooling tray, and just leave it for a few minutes, because anything you touch straight away is going to be boiling hot and you really don't want to burn yourself. When it's ready to scoop out, you just take a palette knife or a normal non-sharp knife. You go all around the edges, cut it up if you've made a really big one, and scoop it out best you can. They're not going to come out looking perfect because they're homemade. They are going to fall about a little bit as they come out of your tray and go onto your plate. But that's fine. That's the beauty of homemade. Nothing's perfect. So we have all made, I'm sure, a whole load of mess. Very important, children, that when your mum's let you take over the kitchen, that you clear it up for her. So I would like you to go and put all of your ingredients away, okay? So your flour back in the cupboard, your milk back in the fridge, your rosemary and your salt and your vegetable oil back into the cupboards where they belong, so your mum doesn't even think that you've been in the kitchen. Very, very important that we clear up as we go. Okay, so you go and pop all of those in the cupboards. If you've got any bits of meat left as well, just pop those into a little sandwich bag so they're ready to go back in the fridge. Any rubbish, so we've got our bits of raw egg and I've got bits of bacon wrapper into the bin. Now you are touching different things that have been cross-contaminated with meat and flour and egg and milk, so don't do anything with your hands again until you've washed them. So if you've put everything away, hopefully you have, fill up your washing up bowl, okay? Nice warm water is what you want, and you're going to wash up, okay? No excuses whatsoever. So while we're washing up, I'm going to see if I can move. Let me see if I can get you over here. Well, I do. Okay, so washing up, very important to do. We never, ever, ever put sharp knives in the washing up bowl unless we're just about to wash them up, because if you put them in there, leave them and walk away, someone will come and put their hands in and they slice their fingers off. Not good at all. Okay, so I'm going to leave you all to wash up. Tea towel. Now, if you remember before, we have spoken about the Eat Well guide, okay? So this is something that Medway Council put out all across the world. They talk about this plate and it shows you how to balance your meal. So while you're washing up, you can listen to me drone on about healthy cooking. So today we've used flour. And flour comes under the carbohydrates side of things, so we have that in our meal. We've used egg and sausages and bacon, so that's a lot of protein that's gone into that, but they're all small amounts, so that's just equated to the one piece of protein that you need in this meal. We've used milk, whether it's soya or normal milk you've used, so that's your dairy that's gone in. The only thing missing to complete your plate is this big green section, which is your vegetables. So when you do dish this up, whether you have this for lunch or brunch, you need to add some vegetables or some salad, ideally vegetables, okay? So if you're not so keen on vegetables, what I find works with the children who come and cook with me is if you take a skewer or a cocktail stick and put some peas on it. One child just filled it up with peas, but what he did when he went home is he ate those peas. So parents, he actually got the vegetables inside his body. So children, pick a vegetable that you really like and pick a vegetable that you don't think you like. So have more of the ones that you like, and let's say you don't like broccoli, like me, don't know why, just don't like broccoli. I'll have lots of other veg, and I'll have one little piece of broccoli, which I'll challenge myself to eat that broccoli off my plate, just so I'm trying to teach my body to like the broccoli. So I want you to add vegetables. Pick lots of vegetables that you like, pick one that you don't like, thread all them on a cocktail stick or a skewer, pop them in the oven and cook them so they bake, or just eat them raw if you've got raw vegetables. But you just want the vegetables to add to this toad in the hole to complete your healthy living plate, okay? Then you're going to be firing on all cylinders, you're going to be feeling healthy and happy and raring to go, loads of energy to do lots of tidying up in your bedroom. So you've probably got about 15, 20 minutes left on your toad in the hole. So finish washing up, finish wiping around your surfaces. As soon as that's finished, it'll be golden brown on the top. If it isn't, just pop it back in the oven for another 5 minutes or so until it's golden brown. You don't want it soggy at the bottom. lift it out onto a cooling tray, allow it to cool. Now if you're eating it straight away, it's going to be perfect, it's going to be warm, perfectly good to eat. If you're going to be eating it tonight for your tea, just pop it back in the oven for about 15 minutes just to warm it up, or the microwave, whichever one you've got. Okay, so thank you for coming back and joining us with our toad in the hole. I will look forward to seeing you on Saturday for a grasshopper pie. Okay, again, we're not going to go in the garden and get any grasshoppers. This is just a little twist on words. You need bourbon biscuits if possible, but if not, any biscuits. You need butter, marshmallows, milk, cream, green food colouring if you have it. If you don't have it, it doesn't matter. It just means that you'll be a hopper pie and it won't be a grasshopper pie, but we can get over that. If anybody who lives really close by to me, which is by the Riverside Country Park in Gillingham, I have loads and loads of green food colouring, so I can pour you some out in a little pot and leave it on my doorstep. Just send me a message if you haven't got any. Don't stress about going to the shops and getting anything. Thank you so much. Hello to everybody. Oh, Charlie is watching with Otis, and Otis is doing some cooking. That's really lovely. Oh, Sarah, morning Sarah. I hope the children are doing the cooking. Thank you everyone. Good luck with your cooking. Keep trying it over and over again. Let you do it for your parents. Let your parents do it with you. Just enjoy cooking. Bye for now.